On Christmas Eve, I woke up to an empty house. I mean completely empty. No sounds of my mom clattering pans in the kitchen. No smell of cinnamon rolls baking in the oven. No distant laughter from my little brother tearing open a present too early. Just silence. It took me a few seconds to realize what was wrong, and then it hit me like a punch to the gut. Every single suitcase that had been in the hallway yesterday was gone. The cars weren't in the driveway. I called out, "Mom." My voice echoed back at me hollow. "Dad, Jacob." Nothing. It was like everyone had vanished overnight. At first, I thought maybe they were outside setting something up, some kind of surprise. But the longer I stood there in my pajamas, the more my stomach sank. Then I saw the note on the kitchen counter. It wasn't even folded. Just a scrap of paper with one line written in my mom's handwriting. "We'll talk when we get back." That was it. No Merry Christmas, and no love you, just that, and next to it an empty coffee mug. That was the moment I knew something was horribly wrong. Tell me, was I wrong for what I did next? Because I still don't know if I went too far. To understand how we got to that point, you need to know my family. I'm the oldest of three, me, my younger brother Jacob, who's 16, and my little sister Lily, who just turned 10. My parents, Mark and Susan, have always been complicated. Growing up, they had a clear favorite, Jacob. The golden boy, straight A's, soccer captain, everyone's favorite kid. And I don't blame him, not really. He's a good kid, but for some reason, my parents made sure I knew every single day that I wasn't their favorite. I was the one who should try harder, the one who needed to be more responsible, the one who was always too emotional. You know the type of family where love is conditional. That was mine. Still, I tried. I cooked dinner when Mom worked late, helped Lily with homework, cleaned up after Jacob when he forgot to do chores. I thought that was what you do when you love your family. You pick up the slack. You stay grateful for what you have. But this year had already been rough. I'd just turned 22 and was still living at home while trying to save money for school. I worked at a small cafe downtown, long shifts with barely enough pay to cover gas. I didn't mind too much Christmas was coming, and I wanted to buy everyone gifts, make the day special. We hadn't had a real family Christmas in years, so I started decorating early, hung lights, even found the old star ornament Dad made when he was a kid. I asked Mom if we were doing Christmas dinner at home, and she said, kind of dismissively, "We'll see. Don't make too many plans." That should have been my first clue. The week before Christmas, everyone seemed weirdly busy. Mom kept taking phone calls, in her room whispering. Dad was suddenly staying late at work. Jacob and Lily were excited but wouldn't tell me why. When I asked Jacob what was going on, he grinned and said, "You'll see." I thought maybe they were planning a surprise for me, since I'd been feeling a bit down lately. I couldn't have been more wrong. On December 23rd, I went to work an evening shift at the cafe. We were closing early for the holidays, so I clocked out around 8 p.m. and headed home. When I got there, the house was quiet, but I didn't think anything of it. Everyone was probably asleep. I wrapped the last of the presents, put them under the tree, and even set out stockings for everyone. Mine said Sarah, written in sparkly glue from when I was a kid. It made me smile. I went to bed that night feeling kind of hopeful, like maybe things were finally turning around. And then I woke up to silence, that note, that awful note. I stood in the kitchen staring at it, my hands shaking. My first thought was that something bad had happened, like maybe there was an emergency. But then I checked the group chat we had for the family, and it was completely dead. I sent a message, "Where is everyone?" No reply. I tried calling my mom, straight to voicemail, my dad, same thing. I called Jacob, and this time it rang. He actually answered, but the second he heard my voice, he hung up. I tried again, and this time it went straight to voicemail too. That's when I realized they hadn't just gone somewhere without me. They'd blocked me. My chest felt tight, and I couldn't stop shaking. I looked around the house, noticing things missing. Dad's travel bag, Mom's makeup case, Lily's stuffed unicorn that she never went anywhere without. Even Jacob's sneakers were gone. I went outside, and sure enough, both cars were missing. I checked the garage, hoping maybe one was still there, but no. Both were gone. The driveway was empty, and fresh tire marks cut through the frost on the pavement. I don't know how long I stood there before I started crying. It wasn't just sadness, it was humiliation. Betrayal, who leaves their own daughter behind on Christmas Eve. I called my grandma, hoping maybe she knew what was going on. She answered on the second ring, cheerful at first, then quiet when she heard me sniffling. I told her what happened, and there was a long pause. Finally, she sighed and said, "Sweetheart, I didn't want to be the one to tell you this, but your parents took the kids to Cancun." I remember feeling dizzy. "Cancun, as in Mexico," I said. "What, why?" And she said, "They said you were busy working and didn't want to come." I almost laughed because it was so absurd. I had never said that. They didn't even ask me. I hung up and checked Instagram, because of course I did. And there it was, Jacob's story, palm trees, ocean waves, him grinning next to a fancy resort breakfast. Mom and Dad smiling with drinks in hand, Lily building a sandcastle, all of them in matching white outfits, like a perfect Christmas postcard. And me, sitting at home, surrounded by gifts I'd bought for people who didn't even think I was worth inviting. I wish I could say I handled it gracefully, but I didn't. I screamed. I threw my phone across the couch and sank to the floor, just sobbing. It wasn't even about missing the trip. It was about realizing that my family didn't see me as part of them anymore. I spent the entire day just pacing around the house, not knowing what to do. Eventually, I started cleaning mostly to distract myself. I picked up their leftover mugs, the half-empty cereal box, folded the blankets. I found a packing list on the counter, written in Mom's handwriting: passports, sunscreen, gifts, charger. I wasn't on the list, of course. That night, when the loneliness really set in, I made myself a cup of hot chocolate and sat by the tree. I looked at all the wrapped presents, little tokens of love I'd spent weeks saving for. A scarf for Mom, a watch for Dad, a soccer jersey for Jacob, and a sketchbook for Lily. I couldn't stand to look at them anymore. Something inside me snapped. I don't know if it was anger or heartbreak or both, but I decided that if they could pretend I didn't exist, I'd return the favor. The next morning, I gathered all the gifts, loaded them into my car, and drove back to the stores. Thankfully, I still had receipts for most of them. I returned every single thing. It felt weirdly satisfying, like I was taking back some control. I used the reef and money to book myself a weekend getaway. A small cabin up north, nothing fancy, but cozy and quiet. I didn't tell anyone. I packed up, turned off my phone, and drove out there that same day. Before I left, though, I did something petty. I won't lie about that. I went on my mom's Facebook account. She always stayed logged in on the family computer, and posted something like "Merry Christmas" from the whole family, and attached a photo of the empty living room, the bare tree, and that note on the counter. I didn't write anything else, just let people draw their own conclusions. Then I logged out and left. So that's the situation I was in, alone on Christmas, abandoned by my own family, and now deciding whether to let it go or make them face what they did. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause and comment below. What would you have done in my shoes? Would you confront them, cut them off completely, or would you forgive them and move on? Because I really wrestled with that question. When I came back from the cabin 3 days later, my phone was blowing up. Dozens of missed calls, texts, and even a few voicemails from my mom. The Facebook post had clearly made the rounds. My aunt commented, "What's going on?" My mom's coworkers left emojis. Apparently, their perfect little image had cracked. My mom's first voicemail started calm, but got angrier with each one. "Sarah, what is this nonsense? Take that post down right now. You're embarrassing us." Then, "We didn't mean to hurt you. It was just last minute." And finally, "If you don't take it down, don't bother coming home." That last one made me laugh bitterly. Coming home to what? They'd already made it clear there was no home for me. When they finally got back, I was still staying at the cabin, but I decided to drive back to grab some things. I pulled up just as they were unloading their suitcases, all tan and cheerful. The second mom saw me, her smile vanished. "You had no right to post that," she said, "not even a hello." I said, "You had no right to leave me." My dad jumped in, saying, "It was a misunderstanding. We thought you were working through Christmas." I stared at him. "A misunderstanding? You blocked me." His face went red, and he said, "We didn't block you. There was bad Wi-Fi." I almost laughed. Bad Wi-Fi doesn't stop you from leaving a note like a landlord evicting a tenant. Jacob looked uncomfortable, muttering, "We didn't think you'd want to come. You're always busy." I said, "Did you even ask me?" He didn't answer. Lily looked up at me with wide eyes and whispered, "I missed you." That nearly broke me. I knelt down and hugged her, tears streaming down my face. "I missed you too, baby." Mom folded her arms and said, "We can't change what happened, Sarah. Just let it go." I said, "You didn't forget me, Mom. You excluded me." She didn't even deny it. I went inside, grabbed my things, and noticed something weird. Most of the gifts under the tree were gone. I asked, "Where are the presents?" Mom said, "Oh, we exchanged them on the trip." Of course they did. I told her I'd returned mine, and she said, "That was childish." I said, "No, childish is abandoning your daughter on Christmas Eve." Dad tried to calm things down, saying, "Let's just move past this. We'll do something together in the new year." I said, "No, you won't. I'm done." That was the first time I saw actual panic in my mom's eyes. "You don't mean that," she said, but I did. I told them I was moving out for good. I had already found a roommate through a friend, and I was leaving the next week. Mom tried to guilt-trip me, saying, "After everything we've done for you." I said, "Yeah, everything. Like leaving me home alone while you sipped margaritas in Cancun." I packed my stuff and left that same night. They didn't stop me. A few weeks later, I got a message from my grandma saying she'd talked to my parents and they were ashamed, though I doubt it. More likely, they were embarrassed because people found out what they did. I never took down the Facebook post. It's still there, buried under newer posts, but it serves as a reminder. Over the months that followed, I started healing. I focused on myself, worked extra hours, and eventually moved into my own place. My roommate, Jess, became like the sister I always wished I had, kind, funny, and supportive. When Christmas came around the next year, she invited me to spend it with her family. They treated me like one of their own. Her mom even bought me a stocking with my name on it. I cried when I saw it. I wish I could say my parents and I reconciled, but we didn't. They've reached out a few times, usually around holidays, but it always feels superficial. The last message my mom sent said, "We miss you. You should come for Christmas this year. No hard feelings." I stared at it for a long time before replying. "You taught me what Christmas really means: family, honesty, love, and I'm spending it with people who actually understand that." She never replied. Do I regret what I did? Maybe posting that picture was petty. Maybe it was immature, but it was also the only way I could make them see how much they'd hurt me. They never apologized, not sincerely. But I learned something valuable from all of it, that sometimes blood isn't thicker than water. Sometimes family isn't who you're born with. It's who shows up for you when no one else does. If you've ever been left out, forgotten, or made to feel invisible by the people who are supposed to love you most, know this: you're not alone. You deserve better. So tell me, was I wrong for posting that picture and cutting them off? Or would you have done the same? Because deep down, I know I didn't deserve to wake up alone on Christmas morning. I didn't deserve to be the forgotten one. If you were on my side through this, please like this video. It helps more than you think, and subscribe for more stories like this because trust me, I've got plenty more where this came from. Let me know in the comments what you think my parents were really trying to do, and whether you think I should ever forgive them. Thanks for listening to my story, and I'll see you all in the next one.